You've seen it on store shelves. It's labeled light, plant-based, and heart-healthy. Today, we're tackling a topic that's probably flown under the radar for a lot of people, but it absolutely deserves your attention, especially if you're living with diabetes, prediabetes, or just trying to manage your blood sugar more consciously. We're talking about rice milk. Yep, that humble little plant milk that seems so innocent sitting on the shelf beside almond, oat, and soy. It's marketed as healthy, light, and dairy-free. So naturally, it feels like a smart option. But what if I told you that just one sip of rice milk might be kicking off a blood sugar spike that could rival a sugary soda? That's not clickbait. That's biochemistry. Before we continue, I'd like to tell you about Diacylon, a powerful blend of 13 natural ingredients, each carefully selected for their proven ability to support healthy blood sugar levels, enhance insulin sensitivity, and promote overall wellness. You can read more on diacylon.com. In this video, we're diving deep into what happens inside your body after just one sip of rice milk. We'll break down the blood sugar spike, look at how rice milk compares to other plant milks, and explain why your pancreas might not be a fan of your morning smoothie if it includes this ingredient. We'll explore the science behind how it's made, why it's so high on the glycemic index, and why diabetics in particular should approach it with extreme caution. And we're not just scratching the surface. We're peeling back the layers, myth-busting, and giving you a full picture of what's really going on. So grab your favorite sugar-free beverage and get comfy, because this might change the way you think about plant-based milk forever. Rice milk is a plant-based beverage made by blending milled white or brown rice with water, then straining it to produce a smooth, mildly sweet liquid. Sounds simple, right? But what's really happening in that process is that the starches from the rice, especially white rice, are being broken down into simpler sugars, including maltose and glucose. This is why rice milk has a naturally sweet taste even without added sugar. It's essentially pre-digested starch. Now, while many people drink rice milk because it's dairy-free and nut-free, making it a go-to for vegans, lactose-intolerant folks, and those with allergies, it's not always the healthiest substitute. Nutritionally, it's quite different from dairy or other milk alternatives. It's low in protein, usually contains very little fat, and it's high in carbohydrates, sometimes as high as 30 grams per serving. Plus, many commercial brands fortify it with vitamins and minerals to give it a more nutritious profile. But these additions don't change the fundamental issue. It's still a high-carb, low-protein, low-fat drink. And when we're talking about diabetes or blood sugar control, that's a problematic combo, because in the absence of fiber, fat, or protein, those carbohydrates get absorbed rapidly, and that's where the real trouble starts. Now let's talk about the glycemic index, or GI, a number that tells us how quickly a food raises blood sugar levels after consumption. Rice milk has a GI of 85 or even higher, making it one of the highest GI beverages you can find in the plant milk section. To put that into perspective, table sugar has a GI of around 65, and white bread comes in at about 75. That means rice milk can cause an even quicker and more intense spike in blood sugar than many processed foods. And here's the kicker. It doesn't even taste that sweet, which makes it even more deceptive. You might think you're drinking something light and healthy, but inside your body it's acting more like liquid glucose. The spike is fast, dramatic, and unfortunately unsustainable. If you're diabetic, this means your body has to scramble to produce enough insulin or rely on medication to bring that sugar down. If your body can't keep up, the sugar stays in your bloodstream longer, leading to hyperglycemia. And even if you don't have diabetes, repeated high GI spikes over time can train your body to become insulin resistant. That means your cells stop responding to insulin the way they should, forcing your pancreas to work overtime until eventually it can't. And boom, now you're on the road to metabolic syndrome or type 2 diabetes, all from seemingly harmless choices like your morning coffee creamer. So what exactly happens inside your body after that first sip, or more realistically, a full glass of rice milk? Let's zoom in. When you drink rice milk, it enters your stomach and quickly begins to break down thanks to enzymes like amylase. These enzymes rapidly convert the rice starch into simple sugars. Unlike whole grains or fiber-rich foods that digest slowly, Rice milk is practically pre-digested during manufacturing, so the sugars hit your small intestine fast and are absorbed almost immediately into your bloodstream. This causes a rapid rise in blood glucose. Now your pancreas gets the signal to pump out insulin, which acts like a key to unlock your cells and allow glucose to enter. But if you have insulin resistance, or worse, type 2 diabetes, your cells don't respond to insulin properly, meaning that sugar just floats around in your blood for too long. That's what leads to fatigue, brain fog, inflammation, and over time, serious damage to organs and tissues. Your liver also kicks in, trying to convert the extra glucose into fat if there's too much of it, contributing to fatty liver disease and weight gain. All of this can be kicked off by something as small as a glass of rice milk. It might not seem like a big deal, but when your body has to fight this battle day in and day out, the effects are compounding and dangerous. It's important to put rice milk in context with other plant-based milks to see just how much it stands out. Let's start with almond milk. Unsweetened almond milk typically has only 1 to 2 grams of carbs per cup, very little sugar, and a very low glycemic index. That means it doesn't spike your blood sugar, making it a much safer option. Soy milk is another alternative. It's a bit higher in carbs than almond, but it offers a good amount of protein and some healthy fats, which slow digestion and prevent rapid sugar spikes. Then you've got oat milk, which does have more carbs than almond or soy, but usually contains some fiber, especially if it's a whole oat variety. Oat milk has a moderate glycemic index, making it a better option than rice milk, but still something to consume mindfully if you're diabetic. Coconut milk is another low-carb option, though it's higher in saturated fats, so moderation is key there too. But rice milk, it consistently ranks among the worst choices for blood sugar control. It has the highest glycemic index, the least amount of protein, and the highest natural carb content. That's a triple threat if you're trying to maintain stable energy levels and avoid glucose spikes. While it might be okay for someone with no blood sugar concerns, it's definitely a red flag for diabetics, and even for people trying to lose weight or reduce inflammation. Here's where things get even trickier. You'd think a product made from just rice and water would be relatively straightforward, but manufacturers have a few sneaky tricks up their sleeve. Many commercial rice milks are sweetened, meaning they contain added sugars on top of the already high natural sugar content from rice. Look at the labels. You'll often see 10 to 20 grams of sugar in a single cup. That's on par with many soft drinks. Worse, these sugars are often disguised under names like brown rice syrup, organic evaporated cane juice, or a natural sweetener. These don't sound like sugar bombs, but your body doesn't care what name it's under. It processes them all the same. Added sugars contribute to even higher blood glucose levels, and when combined with rice milk's high GI, it's like a 1-2 punch to your system. Even unsweetened rice milk, which may seem safer, can still contain over 20 grams of carbs per serving due to the natural starches being broken down during processing. If you're trying to manage diabetes, prediabetes, or even insulin resistance, this is a red flag. The best approach? Always read the nutrition label. Don't be fooled by organic, natural, or vegan labels. When it comes to blood sugar, only the numbers matter. So what does all this mean in the long run? Regular consumption of rice milk, or any high GI, high-carb drink, can slowly chip away at your metabolic health. Every time your blood sugar spikes, your body responds with a surge of insulin. Over time, your cells become numb to this signal, leading to insulin resistance. That's the beginning of a cascade of problems. High blood pressure, weight gain, increased visceral fat, and elevated risk for heart disease. In diabetics, repeated sugar spikes can speed up the onset of complications like kidney damage, nerve pain, vision loss, and cardiovascular issues. And for people who aren't diabetic yet, the habit of drinking high GI foods like rice milk can push them toward metabolic syndrome, which includes a cluster of dangerous conditions like high triglycerides, abdominal obesity, and low HDL cholesterol. Your body thrives on stability, not spikes. And unfortunately, rice milk is a very destabilizing food. You might not notice the effects right away, but the damage happens in silence, behind the scenes until one day your lab results or your symptoms start ringing alarm bells. That's the big question, and the answer depends on your individual health status. If you have diabetes, prediabetes, or insulin resistance, then yes, it's generally best to avoid rice milk entirely or use it in very limited amounts and with the right pairings. For example, if you absolutely love rice milk and don't want to give it up, try using just a splash in your coffee or a small amount in a smoothie that includes protein powder, chia seeds, or avocado. These additions help slow down the absorption of sugar, but rice milk by the glass, especially sweetened versions, is risky territory for anyone concerned about blood sugar. Even for people without diabetes, rice milk doesn't offer a ton of nutritional value. It's low in protein and fat, high in fast carbs, and not very filling. There are so many better options on the market: almond milk, soy milk, flax milk, cashew milk, all of which can be found in unsweetened, fortified versions. The bottom line is this: just because something is plant-based doesn't automatically make it healthy or safe for blood sugar. Context matters, labels matter, and most of all, how your body reacts matters. So, after everything we've broken down, let's bring it all together. Rice milk, while often marketed as a safe, plant-based alternative to dairy, can actually be one of the worst offenders when it comes to blood sugar control. It's naturally high in carbohydrates, rapidly absorbed, and lacks the balancing elements like protein, fiber, or fat that could slow its impact on your body. The result? A fast, powerful surge in blood glucose levels, even from a small amount. It might look harmless in your smoothie, coffee, or cereal bowl, but inside your body, it behaves more like a high-sugar beverage than a healthy dairy alternative. And here's the bigger issue. Most people don't realize this. Rice milk wears a healthy disguise. It's vegan, gluten-free, and often labeled as cholesterol-free, which makes it sound like a great choice. But those labels don't tell the full story. In fact, they often distract us from looking at the one thing that truly matters for blood sugar: the carbohydrate content and how your body processes it. Many people assume that if it doesn't taste super sweet, it must be okay. But rice milk doesn't need to be loaded with added sugars to cause a problem. Its natural starches are already broken down into simple sugars during processing. That means your body is hit with a sugar rush before you even finish your first glass. Now, if you're living with type 1 or type 2 diabetes, this matters in a big way. That one glass could send your blood sugar soaring, requiring insulin or medication to bring it back down. Repeated spikes like this can wear out your insulin response and make glucose control harder over time. If you're pre-diabetic, rice milk could nudge you closer to the edge without you realizing it. And if you're simply trying to maintain stable energy levels, lose weight, or avoid chronic inflammation, these hidden spikes can completely derail your progress. Because it's not just about managing a single meal, it's about managing the pattern of highs and lows that wear out your metabolism and create long-term stress on your system. Even if you're someone without any current health issues, drinking rice milk regularly could slowly push your body into a state of insulin resistance, where your cells stop responding effectively to insulin. Over time, that can lead to weight gain, brain fog, hormone imbalances, and eventually chronic illness. That's the real risk. It's not about what happens in one sip. It's about what happens over months and years of unknowing exposure. And this is why awareness matters so much. At the end of the day, this is about more than just rice milk. It's about the everyday choices we make that either support or sabotage our health, often without us realizing it. It's about questioning the label, looking deeper, and learning how to read past the marketing. Because when it comes to managing diabetes, preventing disease, or simply optimizing your energy and focus, it's the little things, like what you sip with breakfast, that make a big difference over time.